everyone, and welcome back again to the 80s Movie Den. For this episode, we're going to go back to my 1980s most influential athletes. And you can't have a 1980s list without including the greatest of all time, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was an incredible basketball player. In my eyes, the greatest player who ever lived. Some of the more modern basketball fans may argue with that. I have to tell you, full disclosure, I do not like LeBron James at all. I am not a fan of his for many reasons. But as far as his basketball ability, yeah, he's a great basketball player, but he's nowhere close in my eyes. I would put Kobe Bryant closer to Michael Jordan than LeBron James. Michael Jordan burst onto the scene in the mid-80s, 1984-85. He was an incredible ball player. At that time, he was probably the most dynamic basketball player to ever come on the scene. He graduated from the University of North Carolina, the Tar Heels, and got drafted by the Chicago Bulls. Interestingly enough, and I know most people who know Michael Jordan or have heard his story know that Michael Jordan was actually cut from his high school basketball team. And, I think that is as well as other things, influenced his desire to improve and to become the best he could be. There's a documentary on Netflix called The Last Dance, I believe, if I got that right. I have watched it. I've watched the documentary twice. There's, I believe, 10 episodes. Like I said, I've watched it twice over. Incredible. Michael Jordan was, in that documentary, you get to learn a lot about him. He was a fierce competitor, very competitive, and not just in basketball, in golf. He liked to gamble. That's a well-known fact. But everything he did, winning, not winning, it wasn't an option. He was, like I said, an absolute competitor, a beast. In practice, he wanted to win. Obviously, in games, he wanted to win. He was a fierce competitor. A lot of people, some people have even mentioned that he was kind of a bully. He tried to get the best out of his teammates. He pushed everybody around him extremely hard as he would push himself. But that was something that was admirable about Michael Jordan, is that he wouldn't demand anything out of anybody else that he wouldn't do himself. Winning was his only option. Losing was not an option. 6 NBA championships, 2 three-peats. He dabbled in the world of Major League Baseball. That didn't go so well. The greatest basketball player of all time. Some of his highlight reels on YouTube, those of you that are younger basketball fans that have heard of Michael Jordan but haven't really or didn't have the opportunity to watch him play, check out his highlights on YouTube if you haven't checked it out already. I had the pleasure of watching him perform, of watching him play live, and he was incredible. Every time the ball got into MJ's hands, you didn't know what he was going to do. He was such a hard-working player, so dynamic, so skilled, just clutch. Michael Jordan, in my eyes, is the most clutch professional athlete to ever play any sport. Some may argue with that. If you have a legitimate argument, please present it to me in the comments. I'd love to hear it. But when it came down to performing under pressure and hitting that last shot, you could rely on nobody but Michael Jordan. He was the man. All-star, Olympic champion, the best to ever do it in my eyes. And of course, I mean, a tremendous athlete, an absolutely tremendous athlete. So Michael Jordan is definitely on my list of the 80s most influential athletes, for sure. He might be the greatest athlete, pound for pound, as they say, of all time. That's an argument to make. That could be another segment that I could do, is greatest athletes of all time across all sports. That's a hard argument sometimes because all sports they're so different in so many ways, and they have their own skill sets. So it's hard to do that. But if you were to take an athlete and put him in different sports, how would he perform? That's the way I would look at it. And Michael Jordan definitely has to be up there for sure. A human highlight reel, and definitely on my list. So let me know in the comments what you think of Michael Jordan. Let me know what you think of him being the greatest of all time. If you think he's the greatest of all time. Maybe you have another basketball player that you think is better than Michael Jordan. Let me know in the comments. It would be great to read some comments. There's often controversy between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Again, I don't know why. I wouldn't even put the two of them in the same category, to be honest. There's other NBA players that I would push closer to Michael Jordan than LeBron James. So, but let me know in the comments what you think of this segment. And thanks for watching. This has been the 80s Movie Den. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.